So David, coming into the situation, recognizes the echo chamber that's going on with the people of Israel. The first echo chamber is the echo chamber of the world. The second echo chamber David has to get through is the echo chamber of his family. And now people hear David talking, and they say, Saul, you got to hear what's going on in this little boy's mouth. Right? So David, speaking with faith, now the words that David spoke and heard, they're repeated before Saul. And he sent for him. Think of that for a minute. There's such little faith in the camp of the people of God that a little boy talking about, hey, what happens if this guy dies? It comes before the king. And it gets before the king, and you know what I think? I think David's saying, finally, I'm going to get in front of the king. And the king's gonna have some sanity here. I'm sure David idolizes Saul. And he looks at Saul as the greatest warrior of Israel, the anointed of God, and the one that's leading the armies of God. And there's no doubt in my mind that David's going into that tent and he's thinking, come on, me and Saul are going to have a good conversation about what's going on with this Goliath guy. And David gets before the one that he idolizes, who he thinks he's going to probably get encouragement from. And he says to Saul, let no man's heart fail. I'll go and fight. And look at Saul's response. You can't go against him, David. You're just a little kid. He's a man of war. And in that moment, Goliath, his family, the people he idolizes, he comes into this situation and there's not one speck of faith in every single place that he's looking. Here, follow me here for a minute. Ready? Because you have to see this, okay? You have to see what the writer of this narrative is doing. Because we look at the story of David and Goliath, and we think that it's all about this battle between David and Goliath. Don't we? It's all about, this is about a little kid killing a giant. But the reality is it's not. It's not about that at all. This chapter is 58 verses long. 58 verses. You know how many verses have to do with the actual battle between David and Goliath? 2. 2 verses. Ready? Here they are. When the Philistine arose and came and drew near to meet David, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet the Philistine. David put his hand in his bag and took the stone and slung it and struck the Philistine in the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead and he fell to the face of the ground. That's the battle. That's David and Goliath. That's all it tells. That's all it is. Any of you have rock fights when you were kids? We had a paved driveway and it had the little side that my dad didn't pave, and it had those like sharp rocks. You know what I'm talking about? And we used to just throw them at each other. That's the point that Samuel's getting at here. And David even says it. David says it himself. Did he say the battle is mine? He said the battle's the Lord's, didn't he? David's defeat of Goliath is not what this chapter is about. The battle that David is going through is not a battle between him and Goliath. The point of Samuel is that God did the least amount that he could possibly do with a human being. He took a little boy, he put 5 stones, and the boy threw the stone and the giant's dead. It's the simplest thing that could, see, the battle's not David's, the battle's the Lord's. David knew that. I'll go out and kill him because the battle's not mine, the battle's the Lord's. The actual battle of the chapter is the battle that David has to go through is not the battle with Goliath, it's the battle with the echo chamber. The battle here is that David's got to get through this echo chamber that's going on. David has to get through looking at all the men of Israel shrink and fall apart at the sound of the world. David has to get through his family telling him he's an idiot. David has to get through his idol telling him he can't do it. The gauntlet that David has to go through is the gauntlet of people that just laugh at his faith. And the gauntlet you have to go through is not the gauntlet you think you have to go through. The battle is not the big thing that you think is the big thing. It's the echo chamber that you're living in that's telling you that, oh, this isn't really real. You're trusting in God? What are you, one of those born-again people? What, you're really that stupid that you believe in Jesus? Really? And the world's just telling you over and over and over again the foolishness, and it's the most ignorant, stupid people out there that are saying it, and the problem is we're believing it. And we don't defy the world, because how could I defy the world? And David defied the world. He defied the giant, he ignored his brother, and he encouraged his idol and said, this is what God's about. And then he didn't really do anything in battle. Took a stone and threw it at a guy. That's how easy the victory is for God, by the way. All you have to do is have the eyes of faith that David has. In all the circumstances that you're looking at and you're cowering like the people of Israel, all you have to do is have the eyes of faith like David had. That's what this is about. Know why Samuel wrote this? Because he wanted the people of Israel to know you need to stop looking at the world around you and listening to all the echoes of everything that's going on. And you just got to get a little bit of faith like David. Defy the world that tells you God wouldn't be real. Ignore your family when they're stupid. And encourage the people that you would have thought would have encouraged you and that have torn you down. Because the reality is that God, he doesn't need anything but for you to pick up the stone and throw it. And he'll do the rest.